Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you a couple creations by other authors and then show you an update on that cargo carrier I was building. I've been putting a lot of time into that, and that's where most of my time has went, short of the live streams with XCaliber. Um, well, to start with here, though, I wanted to show you a new creation by TheScriptHD, and this is the Sand Crawler, or Skaar Sand Crawler T3. This is a kind of a medium-sized tank, fair amount of firepower on it, pretty quick build time overall, hour and 17 minutes. Just kind of taking a look at all the different features here. So you got harvesting, you've got a full set of 6 minigun turret, or I'm sorry, just miniguns, and quite a lot of turrets, including some rocket launchers, and it looks like some Gatling turrets or minigun turrets. I believe these are minigun turrets. Very nice, very nice. I've been having kind of a coughing fit today, and I don't know exactly what's up with that, so I'm kind of watching my voice there. Yeah, no, looks like it's well equipped, everything kind of exposed. Let's see what we got for storage here. So we got a cargo container with about 9125 storage and a ammo controller with 3500 storage. So yeah, I think that would work out pretty good for what it is. Looks like it's all ready for a taxi tank and a shield. So that would probably involve upgrading to tier 4 with it. Currently it's at tier 3. So yeah, no, I really like it. It's got a neat look to it. It definitely fits the Skaar faction. Looks like it would be effective for what it is, being like a T3 upgradable tank. And yeah, let's take a look at final thing here. CPU 25,000, so it has a little bit of extra on that. And of course, excuse me, of course, if you upgrade it to tier 4, yeah, you would have all kinds of extra CPU for different things. You'd probably have to go to tier 4 for a shield, though, because they're quite expensive. Something else I found on the workshop, just kind of oddball creation, something I never seen before. And this is the Mutated MX15 Kriel. So, yeah, a couple of throwbacks. First, yeah, the human faction and the very old MX15, and then kind of mixed in with the Kriel, and then switched around to add in like a landing pad, kind of almost like it's a mover. And then all kinds of other modded options too. A bunch of mining drills. Yeah, so a whole set of 6 of those. Very cool. Very creative. It's yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, this was done by Bonnie01. So this is up on the workshop, and it's probably been up on the workshop for a while. I never seen it, so I just thought I'd take a look at that. I noticed the interior is quite a bit different than the original one. The original one had basically a long, just a center area. This one was carved out, or well, it's changed a lot. I won't say carved out, but so you got some extra room and space in these other areas over here. So yeah, just something I came across. Now, I also want to shout out to a whole lot of other authors that have contributed right now on the Skaar faction, and I know a lot of them have contributed on other factions as well. And I've added a bunch more creations to the Skaar Collection on the workshop today, or this morning. So shout out to Krom Lockin94. Old Stoker. Now, Old Stoker has went through and made or switched a lot of existing Skaar creations to Reforged Eden, which would include the Crawler and the Raider and quite a few other creations. So they're up on the Skaar Collection as well. I'll leave a link on the post of this video to get to that collection. Also to Barbarian, TheScriptHD, of course. Darth Zaphod. No, I'm just kidding. It's Darth. Oh no! Oh no! 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 I'm gonna screw it up again. It is. Oh, I just played the pronunciation, and literally that was 5 minutes ago, and I forgot it already. We can just make up some names though. No, it's Zaphod. Zape. Oh, he's gonna hate me. I tell you what, I'll just randomly make up weird names every time I say Darth Zapparoni. I'm sorry, I'm just having a little fun, but no, I really appreciate your work. You've been doing some awesome work, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of your new creations as well. I'm just giving you a hard time. Let's see. Then we got Apaseall. I think I said that right. Apaseall. And of course, Vermillion. Now, Vermillion has switched a lot of creations over to Reforged Eden as well. We have Garaman, XCaliber, barefootnhilbily, Pickle 11111, Commando, Payden. These are all authors that have contributed towards the Skaar faction. And all authors that have something in the Skaar collection currently. So I just wanted to say thank you all, and I appreciate it. And I'm sorry I do get behind, and I'm trying to manage my time with everything and comments, and then trying to find some time to work on my my creations too. So I do get kind of behind on things. So if you do send me something and you don't hear back right away, it's not because I'm trying to ignore you. It's because I just haven't got to all the messages at that point. But I usually try to catch up when I get some time. So now I wanted to show you where I'm at with this ship, and this ship has gone through a lot of modifications and a lot of testing right now. And I think it doesn't have any power. Hold on, let's fix that right now. All right, well, to start with, per last video, I said I wanted to redo these side areas to split up the monotony of having all these. So I went through and I finalized that and built like a whole new chunk, which also contains storage like these other ones do, but it's just it's a new part added to the ship essentially to split up the monotony of seeing that same thing over and over and over again. So I was kind of fraternizing with different angles and things like that, trying to get it to look kind of neat from the front, and I went for a big angled shape, and then I try to detail it, and basically I added a bunch of turrets to this section. So now it's going to get some side turrets, a bottom turret. Now what I've been doing is I brought this into Reforged Eden's creative scenario, and I checked it all out to see how it's going to translate across, and I ran into one problem that I have now overcome. Here, well, let's just show you all the things that have been done to this ship, and it's been slow going, I will say, but I'm really getting pretty happy with this. Now I don't have the hangar floor textured yet. That's next thing I'm going to do. The last thing I was actually doing is building out a floor with blocks. It's not done yet, and I haven't finished everything, nor have I textured any of the top of it really. Okay, so logistical problems that I ran into was I was having a hard time fitting all the things that I wanted to fit in here, and I needed a crafting area, and I needed to revamp some existing rooms. So the crafting area I popped in right on the side of the hangar here, which is open to the hangar. And basically I relocated on this side only two of the controllers that would normally be up on the wall here, and I kind of extended them out and changed where they connect to so that it'd be convenient next to a couple advanced constructors right when you walk out here, as well as your armor repair and armor locker, fridge, food processor. I currently have a gravity generator sitting here, but I have a new home for it. I'm going to place it there to free up more real estate in the crafting area. Although I'm kind of running out of ideas on what else I really should add in this area. Of course, you got your medical station. That's all along the front here. Little side room here I have not done anything with yet. I'm going to mess with that and some random cargo extension there. I'll have to fix that up too. Yeah, obviously it's a work in progress yet. So what I also did is I changed this building structure, and I extended it out over on this side a little bit to accommodate more room for a crew area, and not to mention that had a lot to do with I had more space available due to these new chunks or modules that were added to the ship. So that's one thing. So coming out of the farm now, it has a new doorway over here that goes to this little walkout, and then I added in a very small crew room with bathroom, shower, and get this, a door over here. So there is one crew room here. There will be one other crew room on the other side, and that would be coming through this way and out into this chunk over here. Now my current idea is I want to take that gravity generator from where it's currently located, and I believe I'm going to make a home for it over here. Now, something else I did as a solution is I didn't want those parts over here in the first place. In fact, that whole room that used to exist here is gone now. I added in a second gravity generator in the back, as well as the offline protection. So I found a new home for them, kind of out of the way in the hangar. I think that should work out good. As of the length of the ship, and if I were to copy paste and make it longer, one gravity generator was not going to cut it, so I needed a second anyway. So I think that is a solution that'll work, and then I can even like get this out of here too. So I've been trying to free up a bunch of space with that. As in the hangar itself, now my original plan when we were testing it on XCaliber's challenge was to use the T1 generators. So because my first rendition I had a T2 or one of the big generators, and we were like, oh, that's overkill. And but I ran into making this translate between vanilla and Reforged Eden. I decided to put back in the big generator, so I found a home for it up in the hangar here. So basically it's got one of these now instead of a whole bunch of the little ones. And here's where the problem lied. Bringing this to Reforged Eden is very, very easy at this point in time. It's simply adding some more core blocks into the engineering area. I've tweaked this out a little bit more too. But with Reforged Eden, you need to add one of the tier 2s, two of the tier 3s, and one more tier 4. So they all fit in these slots in this room. So you got your two tier 3s, your additional tier 4, and your single tier 1. So you have exactly the right amount of spots to add that in. It gives it 2.1 million CPU. In Reforged Eden, that works out just fine. Everything kind of translates quite a bit. Now, I've got some textures that I switched this whole ship over to hardened steel, and some of the textures changed. So I've been kind of routinely fixing that up. Like this texture on the bottom here shouldn't be that texture. I got most of them, but I'm still working through some other areas and textures like that. So in a nutshell, with the additional thrusters, now currently this version here, I have those cut. Oh, I better get daylight again here. And I just put in some placeholders essentially for where they go. Now I kind of almost want to put them back in stock, to be honest. It's overkill for standard gravity planets. But you don't have to have them on, and there would be obviously a switch to keep these off. But why I want them here is I did like the idea that they sealed everything up and increased protection. I guess these grates are not terribly. They're pretty strong too, but yeah, I just feel bad because I'm putting in essentially 36 of these grates just to seal up the holes, and I hate seeing this cargo extension just visible inside a thruster housing. Um, with Reforged Eden, why I could not go with the small generators on this build is with the thruster upgrade, or adding the 4 more XL thrusters to the ship, it required a whole lot of T1 power generators. Now I have enough slots. I actually have 11 slots in this, or I had 11 slots in this ship to add these generators, which would go up in these upper corridors here. The problem is by adding all the generators to make it work with the thrusters and the shield, it would blow the CPU in Reforged Eden. So I was like, oh man, maybe Reforged Eden could not have basically the high gravity upgrade done to it then. That could only take place in vanilla. Well, I found a solution. The solution was to get rid of all the small generators and put in a big one. And then it works fine and has enough power for Reforged Eden and of course vanilla, and it stays CPU compliant. So that is why I did this. But now I kind of feel bad because now I've got all these kind of slots built to hold all these small generators that obviously are not in the ship anymore. So kind of wasted area there. I haven't come to a conclusion on what I want to do with that yet. So I also figured out like a pathing structure so I could connect or allow front access to all of the storage throughout the ship, all of the 24 320K storage areas, and made this work so you can kind of come across here and also get to the ones in the back of the ship. Now obviously there'll be more detailing and texturing, and I got to do the floor space and everything like that. The only reason I got this Gigantes in here is not because I'm recommending you try to use this in the game, because it doesn't work, but it's the biggest HV tank that I've made, so I just wanted to make sure it had no problems fitting in here, and that's really the extent of it. Added in a repair console over here. I got when I finish up this floor, I'm going to get a repair bay right in the middle of this front chamber, I believe. And yeah, believe it or not, this was a lot of this took a lot of time. This ship has been slow moving, but very happy with it. And I keep on tweaking it, and I keep on tweaking the lighting. But right now, I know for a fact that with its full configuration of the 4 additional XL thrusters that may return to the ship stock, that all that one would have to do, if they want to use this for Reforged Eden, now it'll come stock in vanilla, but for Reforged Eden, all you have to do is add the cores. Add those extra cores in the slots in this room, and that's it. You're done. The ship is completely Reforged Eden compliant, which makes me very happy. So it's the first ship that I've set up and built from ground up to accommodate both vanilla and Reforged Eden. So it's kind of a standard I would like to adhere to moving forward. Now I will say it does add in complications. Makes you got to really think about things even more when you're building this, and allow for more CPU cores and some other things going on. But in the end, yeah, it can be done. You just really got to watch your P's and Q's. So basically, this one big T2 generator over here has enough power to fully support the ship with all the thrusters and the shield charging, and not even come close to going over power or the power situation in Reforged Eden. No problem whatsoever in vanilla. And yeah, so everything's coming along pretty good. Now, name-wise, there's a lot of suggestions for names, and I like them. I'm not going to use Hermes or Hercules. Now, Atlas was a name that was heavily suggested. I do like it. I might go with that. Now, I did come up with one alternative name, and it's something that I didn't really think about, because when I was first building this ship, I was comparing it to the transit ships that I built in the past, and some other ones like the Charon and the Ambre. But something I didn't really think about much is the other line of human ships, and that is the Carapace. So there's a very old Carapace C. Here, let me get light. A very old Carapace C2. This very old. Somehow it was one of XCaliber's favorite ships. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what makes you tick. No, I'm kidding. It's I like the ship myself. I mean, it's dated, and I don't think this version works anymore. The C3 works. Now this was the newer one. Obviously, I changed my general styling and colors and everything else, but this one is newer, but it's still quite old at this point in time. This was a little bit bigger. The naming scheme between the C2 and the C3 all has to do with its class size. So this was Carapace class size 2, Carapace class size 3. This one offered a whole lot more hangar space and a whole lot more landing area. But it was the hull was built of hardened steel rather than combat steel like the original one. I was actually trying to pass this one off as a starter ship originally, and it kind of was. Anyway, one alternative name for this other ship, there it is, it would be Carapace C7, which I expect it to be class size 7. It's, I think, far enough along now where I'm looking at its current class size at 698. I don't have that much more to add to the ship, so I think it will remain in the class size 7 range, which will go up to actually 749 on the size class. So that's one alternative option. But right now on the other names, including, let's see, Andromeda, I just had them written down. Where did I put that? Andromeda, Rhea, Atlas. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys like Atlas the best, Rhea the best, Andromeda, or the alternative idea of just more generic name, calling it a Carapace C7. I think it would kind of work with all of them. It could pass as a Carapace type design ship as well. But I'm kind of excited for it because I think it should work and be usable in everything, hopefully, for those that want to carry an awful lot of cargo and deal with high gravity planets and ships and vehicles. Again, it's not a combat ship, but it does have a shield. It does have quite a decent amount of turrets. But, I mean, it's really for defensive purposes. It's not to engage enemy CVs and things. It's just not that kind of ship. Now, my next big project after I figure out what I'm going to do for XCaliber's challenge would probably be to hunker down building a combat CV, a specific function CV that I actually kind of want to avoid to have a typical hangar that I would normally put in all the CVs. That would allow me to not have this big bulky kind of shape that I typically do most CVs in, simply so I can accommodate room for as big a hangar I could fit in there and cover it up, basically hiding a big rectangle inside the ship. If I didn't have to deal with that, I could really rethink my designing and try to come up with something different. So a dedicated combat CV, I think, would have to be very much about multiple layers of thickness, as much weapons as I can get on it, shield, pretty quick and agile, and I would try to not make it terribly big. But, you know, it's hard to say how big it would actually be depending on, you know, where I go and where I start. I've got a couple of general hull designs in my head right now, and I'll probably see how they come out into blocks here one of these days. But this one is well on its way. I want to make this really fancy and deluxe. And one other thing, too. On some of the more recent creations I put out, especially because I did a lot of Skaar stuff. Now the Skaar are supposed to be junky looking and worn and rusty and that whole theme, but I feel like I was kind of rushing things. I feel like I could have done more, especially on the Cerberus. Now the Cerberus, I really like what the hull on it. The interior is all right, but I just keep on thinking, well, you know, if I would have held it back up and put maybe another 10 hours of work into that ship, I think it could have been better, improved visually at least. I don't know so much about the function of it, but yeah, there's more tweaks and more things I can do and more time I could put into LCDs and other things. And I want this one to be really, really nice. So I'm just like every little area I'm tweaking and retweaking and changing and modifying and trying to, you know, come up with everything that works and fits. Right now the layout of the ship I think is pretty simple. To get around, you can just take this one corridor right up the bridge, farm. You got your way out over here now, which can also get you to the hangar, or you can take the elevator down to the hangar. This room over here just kind of closes you off from getting to the lower hangar, but I mean, yeah. But anyway, that is where I'm at right now, and it might not seem like it, but all the changes that I kind of went over with rebuilding that and figuring out this area and kind of finishing up the rest of the inside walls and ceiling of the hangar took a long time and a lot of little testing and back and forth between Reforged Eden and Vanilla, comparing things and seeing if it was going to work and modifying things and making sure the cores work, and all these ideas come together to a functional ship for both. And that was the target goal of this, and I think it'll well, I know it achieves it now, so I'm pretty happy with that. I just got to do a bunch more work, and then I'm gonna hit some LCDs and things. I got some ideas on how to make this look a little different than all the other human ships in regards to like LCDs and things like that, and I'm going to further tweak the lighting too. Right now I'm kind of liking it. Now, the humans in the past, one of their key features, I'm not really doing so much on this one. This one doesn't even turn on, does it? Bad example. Let me spawn in something from human to tell you what I'm talking about. Let's grab something that works. That'll still turn on. How about a MX11? This was fairly recent. So standard thing that I did with humans is I used yellow, or a particular shade of yellow for texture lights. This one I keep on debating whether or not, because I've steered much more for white lights in this one. But I guess I do have some anyway. Non-issue. I'm trying to like update the style from the very first human stuff, or the stuff that I made, like the Carapace C2. I would consider that like Gen 1 of my building for you know, all this, and then the Carapace C3. This would be kind of like Gen 2. I updated and revamped the looks and things on how all the creations kind of started going forward. And then this one I kind of want it to be Gen 3, which would have more sophistication with other things, you know, and Reforged Eden compatible, updated visuals, things like that. Yeah, a little bit different, a little bit cleaner, a little, I'm hoping to be a little bit more high-tech-ish looking, and with kind of a cool lighting effect, which is kind of basic. I'm using mostly all the same color lights, but it's just, you know, that's what I've been thinking. But yeah, excited. After I'll keep on working on this, but I may start working on some kind of tank or HV for XCaliber's challenge here pretty soon. I do have that existing Skaar tank. I didn't really like the looks of it, and I kind of wanted to hit the drawing board and try something else to see how it comes out, and then submit whatever to the challenge. So anyway, I just wanted to catch up on everything, show you what I've been working on, and see if you got any thoughts. Name-wise, right now I'm steering towards Atlas, unless you guys happen to like Carapace C7. So I think what I've seen, there was the most amount of people that suggested Atlas, which I think would work fine. All right. Well, anyway, you all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.